The rain didn't wash away the blood. It just made it spread faster, pooling around my son's sneakers like a dark, expanding mirror. Dominic stood over him, breathless and laughing, while I fell to my knees in the mud. He didn't just shoot Evan. He looked me dead in the eye, hawked a thick glob of spit, and let it land right on the faded U.S. Army patch on my chest. "Pathetic old man," he sneered, kicking dirt onto my boots. "You couldn't save him. Now go home and cry." He walked away, thinking he broke a helpless father. He had no idea he just reactivated a JSOC commander. Hit like, subscribe for more betrayal stories, and comment your city or country. The silence after a gunshot is the loudest sound in the world. It rings in your ears, a high-pitched scream that drowns out the sirens wailing in the distance. I stared at Evan's chest, watching the rise and fall stop. Just stop. 1 second, he was my boy, 22 years old, full of life, talking about finishing his engineering degree. The next, he was just a body cooling on the wet asphalt of a back alley behind the grocery store. Brooke was screaming. I could hear her, but it sounded like she was underwater. She was clawing at the police officer trying to hold her back, her face twisted in a kind of agony that tears the soul right out of a body. "Let me go to him. That's my baby. Kyle, do something. Why aren't you doing something?" I didn't move. I couldn't. Not because I was frozen in fear. Not because I was in shock. I stayed still because my training had already taken over. My heart rate dropped. My breathing shallowed. My eyes weren't crying. They were scanning. I memorized the tread pattern of Dominic's boots. I clocked the tattoo on his neck, a black scorpion with a red tail. I counted the number of men he had with him, 4. 2 on the perimeter, 1 driver, 1 shooter. If I moved now, if I let the rage snap the leash, I would kill them all in 6 seconds. I would tear their throats out with my bare hands before the first casing hit the ground. But then everyone would know. The police would know. The news would know. And the people who had been hunting me for 15 years, the enemies of the state I had buried in classified graves, would know that Ghost wasn't dead. They would come for Brooke. They would come for my daughter, Lila. So I let Dominic spit on me. I let him call me a weak, pathetic old man. I swallowed the bile and the pride, and I held my dead son's hand while the gang leader laughed and walked away into the shadows. "Sir? Sir, can you hear me?" A young cop was shaking my shoulder. I blinked, looking up at him. He looked terrified, like he didn't know how to handle a man who was staring at a murder scene with eyes as dry as a desert. "I hear you," I whispered. My voice sounded rusty, like an engine that hadn't turned over in years. "We need to get you out of the rain. The ambulance is here." I stood up. My knees popped. I felt the weight of 55 years in every joint, but beneath the ache, the machine was waking up. I looked down at my jacket, an old, Greenfield jacket I used to wear when I worked in the garage. There, right over the heart, was the stain. Dominic's spit, mixed with the rain and the mud. I didn't wipe it off. "Kyle." Brooke crashed into my chest, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. "He's gone. Oh God, he's gone." I wrapped my arms around her, burying my face in her hair. "I know, Brooke. I know. Why did they do this?" she wailed, her fists pounding weakly against my chest. "He was just buying milk. He didn't do anything." She was right. Evan was innocent. He was soft, kind. He didn't have my blood. He had hers. He didn't know violence. He didn't know that the world was a slaughterhouse disguised as a civilization. He thought if you were nice to people, they'd be nice back. Dominic had shot him because Evan had accidentally bumped into him in the checkout line. That was it. A spilled coffee, a muttered apology, and for that, a gang leader decided to execute my son in the alley to teach the neighborhood a lesson about respect. We rode to the hospital in silence, even though we knew there was no point. The doctors pronounced him dead at 9:42 p.m. I signed the papers. I held Brooke's hand while she called her brother, Adrian. I sat in the plastic chair in the waiting room, staring at the linoleum floor, while the detectives asked me questions I already knew the answers to. "Did you see the shooter's face?" Detective Miller asked. He was a tired man, smelling of stale coffee and cigarettes. He didn't care. To him, this was just another file on a stack of files. It was dark, I lied. He had a hood up. Any distinguishing marks? No. If I told him about the scorpion tattoo, Miller would file a report. Dominic would get brought in for questioning. His lawyer, a slick snake named Mason, would have him out in an hour. Dominic would claim self-defense or lack of evidence. The witness, me, would be intimidated or killed. That was the legal way. That was the civilian way. I wasn't a civilian. I was a weapon that had been sitting in storage, gathering dust. And someone just pulled the pin. We got home at 3 a.m. The house felt huge and empty. Evan's sneakers were still by the door. His jacket was draped over the banister. Brooke went straight to our bedroom and collapsed. She didn't even take her coat off. She just curled into a ball and started making these low, keen sounds that sounded like a wounded animal. I closed the bedroom door softly. I walked down the hall to the kitchen. I didn't turn on the lights. I didn't need to. I knew every squeak of the floorboards, every angle of the shadows. I poured a glass of water and stood by the window, looking out at the street. A black sedan rolled slowly past the house. Tinted windows. It slowed down right in front of our driveway, paused for 5 seconds, and then accelerated away. They were watching. Dominic wanted to see if I would brake. He wanted to see if the old man would call the cops or run away. I put the glass down on the counter. My hand wasn't shaking. I walked to the garage. It was cluttered with tools, boxes of Christmas decorations, and old bicycles. I moved a heavy workbench aside, the metal scraping loudly against the concrete. Beneath it was a rug, stained with oil and grease. I kicked the rug away. Underneath was a plain concrete floor. To anyone else, it looked solid, but I knew where to press. I knelt down, finding the hairline crack near the corner. I pressed my thumb against a specific spot in the concrete, holding it for 3 seconds. A faint click echoed from inside the floor. A square section of the concrete popped up an inch. I gripped the edge and heaved it open. The smell of cold air, gun oil, and stale ozone wafted up. I climbed down the ladder into the dark. The bunker wasn't big, just a 10 by 10 room I had dug out myself 15 years ago, the year I retired. The year the Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, erased my file and told me I was officially dead. They gave me a new name, Kyle Miller. A mechanic, a nobody, but they let me keep the tools, just in case. I flipped a switch. A bank of monitors hummed to life on the wall, bathing the room in a blue glow. I pulled the chain around my neck, pulling out 2 keys. One opened the weapons locker. The other opened the secure server rack in the corner. I opened the locker first. My uniform was hanging there. Not the mechanic's jumpsuit I wore every day. The other one. The digital camouflage was crisp, untouched by time. The patches were Velcroed on. The American flag, the Ranger tab, and the unit patch that didn't officially exist. I touched the fabric. It felt like coming home. Then I reached for the burner phone I kept in a lead line box. It had one number saved in it. A number that routed through 3 satellites and a ghost server in Virginia. I typed a message. My fingers flew over the keys, remembering the code like a language I'd never forgotten. Asset, Ghost 1 to 9. Status, compromised. Target, local hostile. Requesting activation of Protocol Omega. Permission to engage. I hit send. I waited. 1 minute passed. Then 2. The phone buzzed. A single message appeared on the screen. Permission granted. Collateral damage, 0 tolerance. Happy hunting, Commander. I set the phone down. I looked at my reflection in the dark monitor screen. The tired, grieving father was gone. His eyes were hard, cold, and focused. I reached into the locker and pulled out a black tactical case. I snapped the latches open. Inside lay my State Route 25 sniper rifle, disassembled, resting in custom-cut foam. Beside it, a suppressed Glock 19 and a combat knife with a serrated edge. I picked up the knife. The steel was cold. You wanted a war, Dominic? I whispered to the empty room. You just invaded a country you don't even know exists. I didn't cry for Evan down there in the dark. I didn't mourn. There would be time for tears later when the work was done, when the threat was neutralized. Right now, there was only the mission. And the mission was simple. Destroy them all. But first, I had to be a ghost. I had to let them think they had won. I had to let them get comfortable. I climbed back up the ladder, sealed the floor, and replaced the rug and the workbench. I walked back upstairs and lay down next to my wife, listening to her ragged breathing. I stared at the ceiling as the sun began to rise, painting the room in gray light. Tomorrow was the funeral. Dominic would probably show up. He liked to gloat. He liked to see the pain he caused. Let him come. Let him laugh. Because I was already planning the first move. And it wouldn't be a bullet. Not yet. It would be something far worse. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in 15 years, I slept without dreaming. Part 2. Silence in the suburbs. The funeral was gray. Everything about it. The sky, the suits, the faces staring at the casket like it might vanish if they blinked. Rain pattered on the black umbrellas clustered around Evan's grave, turning the dirt into mud that clung to our shoes. Brooke clung to my arm, her grip so tight her nails dug into my skin through the jacket. Lila stood on my other side, 16 and furious, her eyes red but dry. She hadn't spoken to me since the alley. Not one word. Reverend Hayes droned on about eternal rest and brighter tomorrows. I tuned him out, scanning the crowd. There, by the wrought iron gate, 3 of Dominic's crew. Hoodies up, leaning against a hearse like they owned the cemetery. One of them, the driver from that night, smirked when our eyes met. He hawked something into the grass, mimicking Dominic's spit. Brooke saw them too. Her breath hitched. Kyle, they're here. Those animals. I squeezed her hand. Stay calm. It's almost over. Lila whipped her head around, spotting them. Her face twisted. Dad, why aren't you doing anything? They're mocking us. Right here, at Evan's funeral. Heads turned. Whispers rippled through the mourners. Old neighbors, Evan's college friends, Brooke's brother Adrian with his polished shoes sinking in the mud. They all stared at me, waiting for the broken father to snap. I didn't. I stared straight ahead, letting the rain soak my collar. Let them think I was weak. Let Lila hate me. The protocol demanded cover. Exposure meant death for all of us. The casket lowered. Brooke collapsed against me, sobbing openly now. Adrian stepped forward, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. I've got you, sis. Kyle, you should say something. His voice carried that lawyer tone, smooth, condescending. Adrian always thought he was the strong one in the family. Big house, fancy car, Mason as his golf buddy. He didn't know I could dismantle his life with one encrypted call. No, I said quietly. Not today. Lila shoved past me, storming toward the gate. You're pathetic. Evan would be ashamed. I grabbed her elbow, pulling her back. Lila, stop. She yanked free, tears spilling. Why? So you can stand here like a coward while they laugh? Evan bumped into that scum once, Dad. Once. And you let them murder him. The gang laughed outright now, one of them flipping us off before peeling out in a lowrider, tires spinning mud onto the graves. The crowd dispersed fast after that. Awkward hugs, mumbled condolences. Adrian drove Brooke home. Lila rode with a friend, slamming the car door so hard the windows rattled. I walked 2 miles, alone, letting the rain wash Dominic's spit stain from my jacket. My burner buzzed in my pocket. JSOC update. Target profiles uploaded. Primary, Dominic Reyes. Affiliates, 17 confirmed. Initiate Phase 2, Economic Disruption. Back home, the house reeked of casseroles from well-meaning neighbors. Brooke was in the kitchen, staring at a photo of Evan on the fridge. Lila's door was shut, music blasting. Kyle, Brooke whispered, turning to me. The whole town thinks you're nothing. They saw those thugs. Why didn't you fight back? I pulled her close. Because fighting back gets us all killed. Trust me. She pushed away, eyes searching my face. Trust you? You've been a ghost since forever. Working in that garage, hiding in your tools. Who are you really? Before I could answer, tires crunched outside. Headlights swept the living room. A pickup truck idled at the curb, Dominic's colors on the bumper. Two guys got out, banging on the door. Yo, old man. Come out. We got a message from Dom. Brooke froze. I motioned her behind me, heart steady. Through the peephole, the driver and a new face, both armed with bats. I opened the door. What? The driver grinned, scorpion tattoo peeking from his collar. Dom says your boy learned respect the hard way. You want the same? Move your ass out of town by Friday, or the girl gets it next. He nodded toward Lila's window. Rage flickered, but I kept it leashed. Tell Dominic he can shove it. They laughed, smashing a brick through the porch light. Glass rained down as they drove off, spraying gravel. Brooke was shaking. Call the police, Kyle. Police won't help. I swept up the glass, mind already mapping their plates. JSOC had hacked DMV 10 minutes ago. Lila burst out, phone in hand. I filmed it. I'm posting everywhere. No. I snatched it. That makes it worse. She slapped my hand away. You're letting them terrorize us. Evan died because you're weak. She stormed upstairs. Doors slammed. Night fell heavy. Brooke cried herself to sleep. I waited till 0200 hours, then slipped to the garage. Workbench moved. Concrete panel open. Bunker lights hummed. Monitors showed live feeds. Dominic's warehouse, his safe houses, bank transfers. Phase 2 initiated. I keyed in commands. Ghost accounts draining his suppliers, rerouting shipments to dead drops. First hit, $200,000 in product vanished from a truck en route. Driver found zip tied to a pole, note pinned. Ghost toll. Pay up or bleed. By dawn, Dominic's phone would blow up. Panic setting in. But upstairs, Lila was slipping out her window. I saw her on the exterior cam, running toward the street, toward a waiting car. Adrian's BMW. I froze. What the hell? She climbed in. They drove off. My burner buzzed. Anomaly detected. Family member movement. Intercept? No. Not yet. I sealed the bunker, grabbed keys. Followed at distance. Adrian's place glowed warm, party lights, laughter spilling out. Lila hugged him at the door. He pulled her inside. Betrayal? Or just family? I parked a block away, watching shadows move. Something felt off. Adrian's garage door opened. Dominic's pickup pulled in. Heart dropped. Connection? Lila emerged minutes later, alone, wiping tears. She walked home. I waited. Listened. Adrian on phone. Yeah, Dom. The old man's cracking. Kid hates him. Hit the warehouse. Ghost bullshit. We'll get him. Click. Brother-in-law on payroll. Unconfirmed. But the rift was real. Family fracturing. Dominic closing in. I drove home slow, pieces falling into place. Quiet war just beginning. Lila asleep when I checked. Brooke stirring. Tomorrow, the strikes escalate. Dominic thinks he's predator. He's prey. But first, fix the home front. Before it all burns. Dawn broke cold and sharp, slicing through the blinds like a knife edge. I hadn't slept. The burner phone sat heavy in my pocket. Socks phase 2 confirmation glowing. Economic disruption live. First asset neutralized. Monitor family vectors. Adrian's voice from last night echoed in my head. Too casual with Dom. But proof first. Always proof. Brooke shuffled into the kitchen, eyes puffy, pouring coffee with shaking hands. Lila's not up yet. She barely ate last night. She's angry, I said, flipping eggs. Normal routine. Keep cover. She set her mug down hard. Angry? She's right, Kyle. Those thugs smashed our light. The whole street saw you stand there. Like a statue. I plated the food, no answer. Arguing fed Dominic's game, fracture from inside. Lila stormed down, backpack slung. I'm going to school. Away from this. No buses today, I said. I'll drive you. She rolled her eyes. Great. The hero mechanic. Outside, the truck started smooth. I checked mirrors, tail clean. Dropped her at the high school gate. Her slamming the door, my parting gift. Back home, bunker called. Monitors flickered. Dominic's warehouse feed hacked via JSOC satellite. Trucks rolling in at 0900. Perfect window. I keyed the drone command. Tiny bird, silent wings, carrying EMP payload. Perched on roof beam. Timer set 0930. Across town, chaos brewed. Dominic's phone lit up, supplier screaming. $200,000 gone. Your boys jacked my rig on I-95. Dominic paced his office, scorpion tattoo flexing. Find M. Rival crew. Crew shook heads. Driver zip-tied, footage looped. Ghost toll. Next one's personal. Panic rippled. Safe house cams showed enforcers scrambling. Guns out, hunting shadows. Brooke's car pulled in. I surfaced fast, workbench reset. She burst through the door, waving a bloody glove. Found this in the trash. Grease? Blood? What are you hiding, Kyle? My glove from last night's recon. Sloppy. Cut my hand on a wrench. Tossed it. She hurled it at my chest. Liar. You're different since Evan. Sneaking out. Coming back smelling like smoke. Brooke? No. Adrian says you're falling apart. He offered us his guest room. Away from this. Adrian. Planting seeds. We stay put. Her phone rang. Mason, the lawyer. Mrs. Miller? Foreclosure notice on your house. Back taxes. Eviction in 30 days. She gasped. What? We've paid. Mason handles Dominic's legit fronts, I said low. Connects forming. Afternoon dragged. Lila texted. Thugs at school fence. Told me tell dad time's up. Burner buzzed. Secondary strike. Supplier accounts frozen. Dominic hemorrhaging $50,000 per hour. Evening news. Mystery hijacking cripples local cartel shipments. Driver unharmed. Bound with military zip ties. Dominic's face flashed. Furious presser. Rival gangs. We're handling it. Brooke paced. See? It's spreading. Adrian's right. We leave now. Lila nodded fierce. Or fight back. I stayed silent, watching feeds on my phone under the table. Dominic alone now, staring at a photo just arrived. His sleeping son, 8 years old, red laser dancing on pillow. Note attached. I watched you sleep. You're alive because I allow it. His scream carried through the mic. Who the fuck is this ghost? Find him. Night deepened. Brooke packed a bag. Adrian's coming tomorrow. We're going. No. I blocked the stairs. This house is ours. She shoved past. Yours? You're losing it, Kyle. Door slammed. She locked herself in. Lila whispered, Dad, what's happening? I knelt. Voice steel. Trust me. Just this once. She searched my eyes, saw something new. Nodded slow. 0200 hours. Garage. Bunker. New feed. Dominic's personal burner. Text to unknown. Double the hit on Miller's. Ghost is the dad. Proof. But sender masked. Then, door cam pinged. Black SUV idled curb. Window down. Laser sights swept Lila's room. I grabbed suppressed Glock, slipped out back door. Shadows merged. SUV driver scanned phone. Alone. 5 steps silent. Chokehold. Zip ties. Hood. He woke gagged in bunker chair. Mid-20s, Dominic's Scorpion Inc. Who ordered Evan's hit? I asked calm. He spat. Fuck you. Pliers clicked. Fingernail popped. Again. Dumb. Just dumb. Liar. Second nail. Source. He broke. Not Dom, boss above. Adrian set it up. Debt swap. Kid for clean slate. Hard iced. Brooke's brother. Evan's uncle. Details. Gasped names. Drops. Meets. Adrian's garage tomorrow, 1100. Payment handoff. I knocked him cold. Left him tied for cops. Anonymous tip queued. Surfaced. Brooke's bag gone. Note. With Adrian. Don't follow. Lila asleep, unaware. Burner. Intel confirmed. Family compromise detected. Authorized lethal force? No. Not yet. Tomorrow, Adrian pays first. Quiet. Precise. Dominic next. Ghost rising. They wouldn't see it coming. Part 4. The lawyer's betrayal morning light cut through the kitchen like a blade, but the house felt colder than the rain outside. Brooke was gone. Her side of the bed was stripped bare, closet half empty. Lila sat at the table, picking at toast, eyes hollow. Mom left a note. She's at Uncle Adrian's. Says you're dangerous now. I nodded, pouring coffee black. No sugar. No time for comfort. She'll come back when she sees sense. Lila's laugh was bitter. Sense? Dad, thugs at my school. House about to be foreclosed. You sneaking out at night. What are you? Truth half formed on my tongue, but cover held. Protecting you. Both of you. Burner vibrated silent in my pocket. Handoff confirmed. Adrian's garage, 1100. Intercept live. JSOC drone overhead, feeding coordinates. I grabbed keys. School's out today. Stay inside. Doors locked. No phone calls. She stood, defiant. I'm not a kid. Tell me what's happening. Later. Door shut behind me. Truck peeled out. Adrian's place was 10 miles out. Big colonial on a manicured lot. Lawyer perks. I parked 3 blocks away, slipped through backyards, tack vest under jacket. Binocs up, garage door half open. Adrian pacing, suit crisp, checking Rolex. Dominic's driver pulled up in the lowrider. Brick of cash exchanged quick. Debt cleared. Adrian hissed low. Driver nodded. Kid was payment. Dom's good. But that ghost? Fucking with shipments. Stay low. They clasped hands. Betrayal sealed. My own brother-in-law traded Evan's life for his gambling hole. Drone feed pinged earpiece. Perimeter clear. Green light. I ghosted closer, shadows long. Adrian turned to enter house. Perfect angle. Trank dart from suppressed pistol. Thud. Driver spun, mine next. Both zip-tied in garage, gagged. Adrian woke first, eyes bulging over duct tape. I ripped it free. Morning, brother. Kyle? What the untie me? Why'd you sell out my son? He blanched. What? No. Debts. Dom cornered me. It wasn't personal. Liar. Played back audio from last night. His voice clear. Hit the warehouse? Ghost bullshit. We'll get him. Sweat beaded. Okay, fine. I owed millions. Casinos, bad investments. Dom said one favor. Scare Evan. Teach respect. Not kill. It went wrong. Wrong. Rage simmered cold. He's dead. Adrian sobbed. Mason fixed papers. Foreclosure's fake. Pressure to make you leave town. Dom wants you gone. Mason. Dominic's lawyer. Next link. Phone buzzed. Brooke. Kyle? Adrian's not answering. Something wrong. Stay there. Hung up. Knocked Adrian cold again. Driver got the pliers treatment. Same story. Adrian the rat. Left them for cops. Tip queued with evidence packet. Audio, photos, bank trails. GSOC scrubbed my prints. Back home, Lila waited by window. Mom called. Freaking out. Eviction notice taped to door. Mason's move. I scanned it. Back taxes fabricated, 30-day notice. Bullshit. We're contesting. Called courthouse direct. Burner routed anonymous. Clerk pulled records. Sir, payments current. Glitch. No glitch. Corruption. Afternoon court filing loomed. Drove downtown, Lila and passenger. Dad, you look different. Like you're in charge. Learned fast. Good. Mason's office gleamed chrome. Corner suite. View of city. Receptionist buzzed us in. He stood. Fake smile. Mr. Miller. Foreclosure woes? Sign here. Vacate peacefully. Handed papers thick with legalese. I flipped to signatures. His and Dominic's shell corp caught, I said flat. Slid phone across desk. Adrian's audio playing. Mason paled. What is this? Endgame. Drop the case, or feds get copy too. He lunged for phone. Predictable. Wrist lock. Slammed face down. Call it off. Now. Shaking, he dialed. Judge Harlan? Mason. Miller foreclosure. Clerical error. Dismiss. Done. Hung up. You don't know who you're messing with. I do. Ghost does too. Left him sweating. Lila wide-eyed in hall. Dad, that was badass. Homebound. Radio crackled news. Local lawyer Adrian Miller and associate arrested for conspiracy. Cartel ties alleged. Brooke called hysterical. Kyle, Adrian's in jail. What did you do? Told truth. Come home. She arrived dusk, bag dragging. Hugged Lila fierce, then eyed me wary. How? Doesn't matter. Safe now. Night fell. Bunker dive. Feeds exploded. Dominic raging at Mason's betrayal leak. Shipments frozen, suppliers bailing. Enforcers deserting. Burner. Phase 3 ready. Personal exposure. Target family photo incoming. Dominic's safe house cam. Him staring at pic. His boy at soccer. Laser. Prior warning faded. New text from Ghostline. Your son's coach knows your debts. School board does too. Panic real now. He smashed phone, screamed orders. But Brooke cornered me in kitchen. Glove was yours. Blood not grease. And that look in court. Kyle, who are you really? Truth cracked door. Army. Long time ago. She laughed disbelieving. Mechanic, sure. But this? You're scaring me. Lila piped up. He's protecting us, Mom. Finally. Door pounded. Grant, retired general, old JSOC contact, stood there, uniform blues crisp. Handshake firm. Heard you activated. Coffee. Living room tense. Brooke poured shaky. Grant straight. Dominic's protected. Police chief on payroll. Mole and department feeding him intel. Proof dropped. Wire transfers, meat logs. Brooke gasped. Chief Harlan? Evans' case. Buried it, Grant said. System rotten. I nodded. Burn it down. Grant slid folder. Use this. Clean. Midnight, alone. Folder held chief's dirt, bribery, assaults. Anonymous drop to IAQ'd. But burner lit. Anomaly. Brooke's phone pinged Dominic's tower. 20 minutes ago. Heart sank. Her call during Adrian mess? Leaked location? Outside, tires crunch slow. Headlights off. Hit squad inbound. No more games. Gear up. Protocol shift. Defend. They came silent. 6 shadows. Suppressed weapons. Front. Back doors breached. I waited dark hall. First breached. Throat sliced quiet. Second tripped wire. Flashbang popped. Disoriented. Double tap. Living room chaos. Brooke screamed from closet. Lila shielding her. Upstairs clear. Bodies down. Zip-tied survivors. Squad leader gasped awake. Dom sends regards. Phone to his ear. Dominic's voice. That you, Ghost? Family's next. No. I whispered Mike hot. You're done. Smashed it. Cops rolled up. Grant's pull. Clean sweep. Dawn broke. Brooke emerged pale. Kyle, you killed them? Neutralized. For us. She backed away slow. Monster. Lila hugged me tight. Hero. Fracture deepened. But Dominic trembled now. Chief exposed tomorrow. War escalated. Family teetered. One leak could end it. Brooke's words hung in the air like smoke after a detonation. Monster. She backed into the kitchen, eyes darting from the zip-tied survivor on the floor to the blood-flecked hall runner. Her face was a mask of horror, pale as the first light creeping through the curtains. Lila clung to my side, her small frame trembling but her grip fierce, like she was anchoring herself to the only solid thing left. Grant stood by the door, calm as granite, holstering his sidearm with a practiced flick. Cleanup crews 5 out. Feds will call it a rival hit gone wrong. No traces back to you. Brooke whirled on him, voice cracking high. Who the hell are you? Some kind of hitman buddy. And you? Kyle, what just happened here? Those men, blood everywhere. You moved like you'd done this 1,000 times. Later, I said, keeping my voice level, steady as a heartbeat under fire. Sirens wailed distant, but closing fast, cutting through the morning fog. Pack essentials only. Clothes, meds, Evan's photo. We're moving to a safe house now. She laughed, a sharp, hysterical bark that echoed off the walls. Safe house. This is our home. Our life. You think I'm running because my mechanic husband turns into Rambo overnight. Grant stepped forward gentle but firm, his general's baritone cutting the panic. Ma'am, listen close. Dominic's circling like a shark now. Chief Harlan's exposed. Those bribery files I dropped to internal affairs hit at 0400 sharp. He's panicking, lashing out. Your husband's the only wall standing between your family and a bullet. You move, or you don't wake up tomorrow. Her eyes flicked back to me, searching the man she'd shared a bed with for 20 years, hunting for the soldier buried underneath the grease stains and quiet dinners. Husband or killer? Which one are you, Kyle? Tell me. Lila tugged her sleeve desperate. Mom, stop. He saved us. Those guys kicked in the door with guns drawn. Dad took them down. He's not a monster. He's the reason we're breathing. Cops rolled up outside. Grant's hand-picked contacts. No badges flashing questions. They moved efficient. Bodies bagged silent. Survivor hooded and whisked into a van. Official story locked. Gang infighting turned deadly. Millers uninvolved. Victims of bad location. We piled into Grant's unmarked SUV fast. Lila wedged between us up front. Brooke rigid in back like a statue carved from ice. The drive cut through pre-dawn streets empty and slick with dew. No words passing. Tension thick as fog rolling off the river. Lila's hand found mine on the gear shift, squeezing once. Brooke stared out the window, silent tears tracking her cheeks. Safe House was a nondescript ranch on the city's ragged edge. JSOC black site. Off every map. Reinforced doors blending into peeling siding. Inside stripped bare. Metal cots. Stocked fridge humming low. Secure line blinking red on the wall. Grant locked down, brief, quick, and clipped. Dominic's gone underground, bunkered in his primary safe house. Adrian's already spilling guts to the feds under a plea deal, rat move. Mason's law license yanked by noon. But the real architect behind Evan's hit, fresh intel downloading now. Sit tight. My burner pinged soft in my pocket, encrypted file dropping heavy. I pulled it out, screen glowing cold blue. Interrogation transcript from the driver we'd broken last night. Adrian's name bolded, circled in red like a kill zone. Debt swap confirmed. Nephew's life traded for clean slate. Adrian greenlit the alley setup. Specific time, no cams. I stared at the words, world narrowing to that screen. Brooke's brother, Evan's uncle, the same man who'd laughed with him at birthdays, tossed baseballs in the backyard, coached Little League on weekends with that booming voice full of fake pride. Family blood turned poison. Brooke leaned over my shoulder, breath catching. What's that? Kyle, show me. Truth, I said flat, handing her the tablet. Her eyes scanned, color draining fast like water down a drain. Fingers trembled on the screen. No, Adrian wouldn't, not our boy. He loved Evan. Wouldn't did, Grant said, voice flat as pavement. Casinos owned him body and soul, millions down the drain on bad bets. Dominic called the debt due. Adrian didn't pay cash. He traded a life. Picked the alley himself, timed it perfect post-checkout when cams went dark. Dominic pulled the trigger, sure, but the order flowed from family blood. She crumpled onto the nearest cot, sobs wrenching deep from her gut, body folding in on itself like a house collapsing. My brother sold our son? For money? Oh God, Evan. Lila dropped beside her, arms wrapping tight. Mom, breathe. We're still here. I paced the dim room slow, pieces locking into place with cold precision. Not some random bump in the checkout line. Orchestrated from the start. Adrian fed the intel, Evan's routine, the grocery run, the exact alley blind spot. Dominic spat on my uniform thinking he'd crushed a nobody. Never knew the ghost was watching every move. Burner vibrated again. Live feed authorization. Dominic/Adrian, meet confirmed. Warehouse 3, catwalk vantage. Breach authorized. Y/N. Grant, I said low. Hold the perimeter tight. Eyes on feeds. I go in alone. He met my gaze, nodded once. Ghost rules. Radio silence unless compromised. Slipped out the back door quiet. Truck blacked out and parked deep in the tree lane half a mile off. Warehouse district loomed grim under slate sky, rusted silos groaning in the wind, chain-link fences rattling like loose teeth. Humped and fast, tack light off, boots silent on cracked gravel. Perched the catwalk overlooking Bay 3, shadows swallowing me whole. Below, Dominic paced furious like a caged wolf, Adrian dragged in chains, face bruised purple and split lip oozing. "You rat fuck," Dominic roared, pistol whipping hard, crack echoing off metal walls. "Feds tore through my books because of you." Empire crumbling. Adrian spat blood, chains rattling. "You killed the kid." I said scare him. Teach respect, not murder. Dominic's laugh came cold, echoing ugly. "Scare? Your own nephew bumped me in line. Det called for a real lesson. You greenlit it full, said make it stick whatever it takes. Boy was just collateral on your bad bets." Adrian sobbed wet, broken. "Please, Dom, deal's done. I'm clean. Not when this ghost burns everything I built." Dominic jammed the gun to Adrian's temple, hammer cocking loud. "Loose ends like you, they die messy." My suppressed shot cracked precise. Front tire blowout on Dominic's getaway truck outside. Distract perfect. Dominic spun wild-eyed. I dropped 20 feet silent to the catwalk edge, rolled into shadows seamless. Adrian first. Knife sliced ropes clean in 2 seconds. "Run. Now." He bolted stumbling into the dark stacks. Dominic fired blind bursts, bullets sparking off crates. "Ghost. Show yourself." Closed fast. Chokehold from behind. Knee driving spine. Glock cold to his neck. "You spat on my uniform that night. Now talk true. Who pulled the strings first?" He gasped, bucking weak. "Not me first." Adrian ordered the hit clean. Said Yim. "Termination authorized. Make the father watch." Proof in Mason's safe. Signed docs. Liar test passed. JSOC ping confirmed seconds later. Docs authentic. Adrian SIG verified. Released pressure slow. Dominic slumped wheezing to knees, eyes wide with real fear. "Who the fuck are you?" "Ghost." Left him broken heap. Cued anonymous ambulance from a payphone 2 blocks out. "No kill. Protocol zero tolerance held firm." Back at safe house as dawn cracked gray, Brooke paced furious circuits, eyes red-rimmed. "Where were you?" "Don't lie." "Closing the endgame," I said, shedding tack vest. "No more details. Need to know only." Grant's radio crackled live. Feds moving on Adrian now. Full confession rolling in. Rats singing everything. Door burst open hard. FBI swarm. Badges flashing harsh under the lights. Kyle Miller. Hands up. On the ground now. "What the hell?" Lead agent stepped forward. Harlan's hand-picked successor, smirk curling. "Weapons cache at your house. Multiple bodies cooling. You're done, Ghost." Grant blocked calm. "Stand down. He's cleared asset." JSOC chain. Agent laughed ugly. "Ghost. We know all about him. Rogue op." Trap snapped shut. Adrian flipped harder than expected, traded my name, my history for full immunity. Sold the ghost to save his skin. Brooke gasped sharp. "No." "Kyle." Cuffs snapped cold on wrists, biting deep. Lila screamed raw. "Dad." "Let him go." Miranda writes red monotone. Hauled out rough into the blinding sun, shoved into a cruiser. Holding cell was sterile hell, fluorescent buzz drilling the skull, concrete bench hard under me. Agent leaned in close through bars, breath sour. JSOC cut you loose, Miller. Adrian sang the full op sheet. "You're burned." Burner hidden in my boot, soul vibrated faint. Exfil live. 0600 extraction. Hold position. Clock ticked merciless. Lila's terrified face burned in my mind. Brooke's eyes, betrayal layered thick now. But the twist cut deeper still. Agent rolled his sleeve casual, scorpion tattoo peeking at the cuff. Dominic's ink. Plant through and through. Game flipped. From inside the cage. They thought they had me trapped. Time to turn the key. The holding cell smelled like bleach and old sweat, and the buzzing lights overhead made time feel louder than it should have been. My wrists ached in the cuffs, but the pain wasn't the problem. The problem was the man standing outside the bars pretending to be federal. He leaned in again, like we were sharing a secret. Agent Hunter, that's what the badge said, smiled with his mouth, not his eyes. Your wife and kid are safe if you cooperate, Kyle. Tell me where the evidence is. Tell me where Grant hides the gear. I kept my voice flat. If you were real, you'd know Grant doesn't hide. His smile twitched. Don't play games. I stared at the cuff of his sleeve where that scorpion tattoo had peaked earlier. It wasn't just ink. It was a message. Dominic didn't need to storm the safe house anymore. He'd planted a uniform right inside the system. Hunter followed my gaze and tugged his sleeve down like it meant nothing. You're smart. That's why Dominic wants you alive. He wants you to watch what happens next. My throat went dry, but I didn't give him the satisfaction of seeing it. Dominic doesn't get to want anything. Hunter chuckled. Everybody wants something. Your wife wants her brother back. Your daughter wants her old dad. You want a clean story where the bad guys lose and the good guys heal. He tapped the bars with one finger. That's not this world. He turned and walked away, boots echoing down the corridor. The moment he disappeared, my boot vibrated. One quiet pulse against my ankle bone. Exfil live. 0600 extraction. Hold position. Grant's message had made it through. The old general wasn't coming to smash doors like a movie. He'd do what he always did. Move pieces so the enemy thought they were winning, right up until the board flipped. A few minutes later, footsteps returned. Different pace. Different weight. A guard stopped at my cell. Phone call. Hunter watched from the end of the hallway, arms crossed, like he was letting me have a last sip of air before drowning me. The guard held out the receiver through the slot. I took it. Dad. Lila's voice cracked so hard it almost didn't sound like her. Where are you? They won't tell us anything. My chest tightened. I'm here. Listen to me. Are you safe? We're at the station, she whispered. Mom's with me. She's not okay. A second voice came on, raw and shaking. Kyle, what did you do? Brooke. Not screaming this time. Something worse, broken quiet. They said you're some kind of military criminal. I closed my eyes for one beat. Brooke, I never lied about loving you. I never lied about loving our kids. Her breath hitched. Adrian's lawyer called me. He said if I testify against you, he can get Adrian out. He said you're the real danger. There it was. The pressure point. Family turned into a weapon. Brooke, I said softly, look at me in your memory. The man who fixed Lila's bike in the driveway. The man who sat in the ER all night when Evan broke his arm at 10. Does that man feel like the threat? Silence. Then Lila again, whispering fast like she was scared someone was listening. Dad, Uncle Adrian keeps calling Mom. He's saying you'll ruin all of us. My jaw clenched. Don't answer his calls. Not one. Brooke came back, voice trembling. Kyle, what are we supposed to do? Tell Grant you want a lawyer named Nathaniel, I said. Say it exactly like that. Brooke hesitated. Who's Nathaniel? You don't need to know. Just say it. I heard her swallow. Okay. The line clicked. The guard took the receiver back. Hunter approached slow, clapping once like he'd enjoyed the show. That was sweet. Family is always the soft spot. He leaned close to the bars. I'll ask one more time. Where's the file? The one that buries Dominic and Adrian and the chief and all of us. All of us. I repeated. Hunter's eyes hardened. He realized he'd said too much. You know what I mean. I nodded like I understood, like I was scared, like I was ready to bargain. Then I said, you should have worn long sleeves. His face went still. That scorpion tattoo wasn't just evidence. It was identity. A mark Dominic gave his loyal ones. The kind of mark people in his world earned with blood. Hunter stepped back. You're not walking out of here. He motioned to the guard. Move him. The guard hesitated. He hasn't been arraigned. Hunter flashed his badge. Do it. They opened the cell. As the guard grabbed my arm, I let my body go loose for a second, dead weight, like a man who'd finally quit. The guard cursed under his breath and adjusted his grip. That adjustment gave me what I needed, a half-inch of space. I rotated my wrists, not fighting the cuffs, working them, the way muscle memory taught me in places that never made the news. My thumb pressed into the tender point under my own wrist bone, just enough to numb the sting, just enough to get slack. Hunter walked in front, leading me down the corridor toward a back door. No cameras, no desk sergeant, no paperwork, just a hallway that smelled like mop water and a bad decision. I kept my voice quiet. Where are we going? Hunter didn't look back. Transfer. That's funny, I said. Transfers have forms. He stopped at a steel door and punched a code. You talk too much for a guy who wants to live. The door clicked open. Outside was a service alley behind the station. A black van waited, engine running. And in that moment, the fear finally hit. Not for me. For Brooke and Lila. Because if Hunter was pulling me out the back, this wasn't an arrest anymore. This was an execution. He grabbed my collar and shoved me toward the van. On your knees. I didn't fight him. Not yet. I looked up at the gray morning sky, like I was resigning myself to it. Like I was praying without saying the words my family didn't want in our stories. Hunter pulled his pistol, suppressor already screwed on. You die quiet, he whispered. Dominic likes it that way. A voice behind us cut through the alley like a blade. Kyle Miller. Hunter froze. Two cars slid into the alley fast. Unmarked, black, official. Doors flew open. Grant stepped out first, calm as ever, hands visible, eyes locked. Next to him was a man in a suit with tired eyes and a briefcase, Nathaniel. And behind them, 3 agents with OIG on their vests. Office of Inspector General. Real oversight. Real authority. Hunter's face changed instantly. The predator's smile vanished, replaced by a forced calm. This is a secure transfer. Nathaniel spoke like he owned the air. No, it isn't. This detainee is under federal protective custody, pending an emergency hearing in front of Judge Victor. Your involvement ends now. Hunter tightened his grip on my collar. You don't understand. Grant stepped closer, voice low. Oh, I understand. Put the gun down, Hunter. Hunter's eyes flicked to my face. A silent question. Did you do this? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The OIG agent lifted a camera phone. We have your badge log, your off-record cell movements, and the tattoo matches an informant description tied to Dominic Reyes. Hunter's jaw flexed. His gaze darted, calculating exits. Then he did the thing Dominic's men always did when cornered. He went for the fastest win. Hunter yanked me in front of him, pistol rising to my head like a shield. Grant didn't flinch. Not a blink. Don't. Hunter hissed in my ear. Tell them to back off, or I paint the wall with you. My hands were still cuffed behind me, but my wrists had slack. I dropped my weight, drove my shoulder back into Hunter's ribs, and twisted hard, using the cuffs like a crude metal lever. The gun jerked offline. The shot fired anyway, into the van tire, exploding rubber and air. I spun, slammed Hunter's wrist against the van frame. His pistol clattered. An OIG agent tackled him. Another snapped cuffs on him so fast, it looked like a magic trick. Hunter screamed, "You're all dead." Dominic will. Grant stepped in close and said, almost gently, "He won't." Nathaniel looked at me, breathing hard, rain starting again in thin needles. Kyle, you're walking into a courtroom, not a battlefield. Can you stay controlled? I stared at Hunter on the ground, thrashing like an animal that realized the cage was real. Then I said, control is the only thing keeping my family alive. Grant nodded once. Good, because the next part is harder. He leaned in, voice dropping. Brooke answered one of Adrian's calls last night. The call didn't just go to Adrian. My stomach sank. It forwarded, Grant said, to Dominic. The alley seemed to tilt. And Brooke didn't know, Grant added quickly. But Dominic knows where she is now. My breath came slow, measured. Nathaniel opened the car door. Court in 20 minutes. Judge Victor will decide if you're protected or handed back to the wolves. I got in the car, cuffs still on, heart steady and sick at the same time. Because for the first time since Evan died, The biggest threat wasn't Dominic's gun. It was Brooke's fear. And if Dominic reached her before I reached that courtroom, there wouldn't be anything left to save. The courtroom smelled like polished wood and stale coffee, the kind of place where truth got buried under procedure. Judge Victor sat high behind the bench, glasses perched low, scanning papers like they held state secrets. My cuffs were off now, Nathaniel's doing, but the weight stayed. Brooke and Lila sat in the gallery, her hand gripping the bench edge white-knuckled. Lila's eyes locked on me like I might vanish. "Mr. Miller," Victor said, voice gravelly from years of verdicts. "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. Agent Hunter's arrest raises flags, but JSOC clearance? That's above my pay grade." Nathaniel stood smooth. "Your Honor, classified Exhibit A. Hunter's interrogation confirms Dominic Reyes' infiltration. Miller's family targeted. Protective order now." Victor leaned forward. "And the bodies at the Miller residence?" "Self-defense," Nathaniel shot back. "Video from Mr. Miller's hidden cam shows armed breach. No charges stick." Brooke shifted uneasy. Dominic's reach felt closer here than in any alley. Victor banged gavel. "Temporary protection granted. Family relocated. Hearing adjourned 48 hours. We filed out fast. Grant's team flanked us, subtle suits, eyes scanning every shadow. SUV convoy rolled to new safe house. Fortified apartment downtown, windows blacked, doors triple locked. Inside, Brooke exploded quiet. "Courtroom? Protection? Kyle, this is insane. Adrian's rotting in jail because of you." "Because of him," I corrected, unpacking go bag. "He sold Evan." She paced furious. "My brother made mistakes. You're dismantling everything." Lila stepped between. "Mom, stop. Dad's keeping us alive." Burner pinged discreet. Dominic mobilized. "Hit squad inbound. 2,200 ETA. Perimeter armed." Grant checked feeds. 6 confirmed. Heavy gear. Frontal assault. Brooke froze. "Assault? Here." I nodded calm, pulling tack vest tight. "Protocol. They come, we hold." Night fell thick. Lila barricaded in safe room, panic button, air supply. Brooke refused, grabbing kitchen knife shaky. "If you're fighting, so am I." Pride flickered. "Stay low." 2,200 sharp. Feeds lit. Black SUVs screeched curb, doors flying. 12 shadows, ARs, tack masks, Dominic's scorpion patches glinting. Breach charge boomed front door, wood splintered. Flashbangs popped living room, deafening cracks. I waited hall shadow, suppressed Glock steady. First breached, headshot clean, dropped silent. Second tripped claymore wire, shrapnel shredded legs. Screams cut short. "Ghost." Squad leader barked radio. Flank left. Kitchen window smash. 2 in. Brooke swung knife wild, caught arm. "Get out." They laughed. I rolled low, double tap both. Blood sprayed cabinets. Upstairs breach, Lila's safe room. I humped stairs 2 at time, frag out. Hallway erupted smoke, screams. Squad leader cornered her door, breaching tool raised. Little girl first. Tackle from blind spot. Knife to throat, twist precise. He gurgled down. Radio crackled his vest. Dominic's voice live. "Status." Silence. "Ghost." "That you?" Dominic snarled. "Come get me." Picked up radio. "Sending your dogs back in bags." Laughter cold. Brooke next. Saw her call logs. Weak link. Heart iced. Proof. Living room clear, bodies stacked, zip-tied survivors groaning. Grant swept rear. Neutral M, 4 barking controlled bursts. Brooke emerged pale from pantry, knife bloody. "Kyle." "I got one." Held her gaze. "You did good." Dawn crept slow. Cleanup vans rolled silent. Grant's feds, no traces. News would spin failed cartel raid. Lila cracked safe room door, hugging fierce. "Dad, you're scary good." Brooke sank couch, staring hands. "We almost died. Because of you." "Because of Dominic," I said. "And Adrian's poison." She whispered. "I called Adrian once." After court. Needed to hear his side. Eyes narrowed. What did you say? Nothing. Just why? Tears fresh. He begged me turn you in. Said you'd destroy us. And I hung up. Voice broke. But Dominic, he knew. Somehow, Grant cleared throat. Phone compromised. Traced back. Betrayal layered. Not intentional, but cost blood. Burner final ping. Dominic exposed. Chief Harlan arrested. Phase 4. Extraction. Relief thin. Family fractured deeper. Brooks saw the killer now. Raw. Efficient. Lila whispered. We stick together. Brooke met my eyes slow. Who are you really, Kyle? Whatever keeps you breathing. Outside, sirens wailed distant. Dominic cornered, but were personal now. He'd come harder. Or run. Either way, and neared. Sunlight filtered weak through the blacked-out blinds, turning the safe house into a dim cave where shadows held more truth than light. Brooke sat on the edge of the cot, her hands still stained faint red from the night before, staring at nothing. Lila curled beside her, asleep finally, exhaustion winning over fear. Grant paced the kitchenette slow, radio clipped to his belt whispering static updates. I cleaned my Glock methodically at the table, slide rack, chamber check, suppressor twist. Each motion a ritual pulling me steady. Brooke broke the quiet first, voice raw like gravel. That wasn't self-defense last night, Kyle. You moved like killing was breathing. How many men have you dropped like that? I didn't look up. Enough to keep you safe. She stood sharp, chair scraping loud. Safe? We're prisoners. Adrian's gone, the house is gone, Evan's gone. And now Dominic's sending armies? This ends when? Grant paused, eyes on his feed screen. Ends when Dominic's cuffed. Chief Harlan's in federal holding, bribery, conspiracy, the works. Feds tore his office apart this morning. Relief flickered thin. Harlan was Dominic's shield and blue. Without him, walls crumbled. Burner vibrated soft. JSOC green light. Ghost protocol active. Dominic located. Abandoned mill, East River. SWAT mobilized 0900. Standby. But SWAT men exposure. Protocol demanded clean. Brooke grabbed her phone, dialing frantic. I'm calling Nathaniel. We need out. Real protection, not this. No. I set the Glock down deliberate. Dominic traces calls. You saw last night. She hurled it at the wall. Cracked screen. Then what? Hide forever. Lila stirred, rubbing eyes. Mom. Dad's right. Those guys last night, they were gonna kill us. Grant's radio crackled live. All units, SWAT rolling on mill. Suspect armed, barricaded. Non-lethal authorized. I stood. I'm going. Brooke blocked the door. No more blood. Let police handle it. Police were Dominic's, I said low. Now they're cleaning house. But he's slippery. Grant nodded. I'll ride shotgun. Lila stays with perimeter team. Brooke's face crumpled. Kyle. Trust the protocol. Pulled her close one beat. Scent of her shampoo mixing with gun oil. I come back. Mill loomed grim on the riverbank. Rusted skeleton of steel beams. Windows shattered like broken teeth. SWAT cordon buzzed tight. Armored trucks. Snipers perched rooftops. Negotiator barking bullhorn. I parked unmarked half-block out. Grant flashing old creds. SWAT commander met us crisp. Captain Preston, salt and pepper beard. Eyes sharp. Miller? You're the civilian witness. Asset, Grant corrected flat. JSOC liaison. Preston's brow furrowed. Ghost. Intel flagged you rogue. Flagged wrong, I said. Dominic's inside. Solo. With 2 lieutenants. Barricaded 3rd floor. Demands safe passage, immunity. Burner pinged cords. Thermal showed 3 signatures, huddled tight. Preston keyed radio. Breach teams, hold. Breaching charges ready. No. I stepped forward. My op. He laughed short. Civilian override? No. Grant leaned in. Captain, look at Harlan's file. Dominic owned him. This crew's clean, but Dominic smells Fed trap. Preston scanned tablet Grant handed. Harlan's ledgers, Dominic's payoffs. Jaw tightened. Shit. What's the play? Ghost entry. Rear scaffold. You cover exfil. Preston eyed me long. Faded jacket. Mechanic hands. You military? Was. Climbed scaffold silent. Shadows swallowing boots. Wind whipped river stink. Beams groaning underweight. Third floor catwalk. Peered through cracked window. Dominic center room. Two goons flanking. AKs loose. Table scattered cash. Burners. Evan's photo pinned mocking. Dominic paced. Scorpion tat gleaming sweat. Feds bluffing. Ghost a myth. Goon laughed. Spit on his patch. Broke him. Rage cold. Slid window silent. Dropped prone. Suppressed shot. Goon one's knee shattered. Second spun. Throat mic takedown. Dominic whirled. Pistol up. Ghost. Glock steady from shadow. Uniform you spat on. Remember? He froze. Eyes wide, real fear. Old man, how? Protocol. Closed distance precise. Disarmed clean. Wrist lock. Knee drop. Cuffed him face down. Radio barked. Shots fired. Status. Clear. I keyed Preston's spare. Suspect secured. SWAT stormed in heavy, but Dominic mine. Preston entered cautious. Jesus, you're him. Ghost nodded. Exfil him federal. No deals. Outside, chopper thrummed low. JSOC bird. Rotors slicing fog. Dominic dragged aboard, snarling curses. Back safehouse dusk. Brooke waited door, Lila peeking. Over. Mostly. Handed her burner photo. Dominic cuffed. Scorpion tats stark under lights. She exhaled shaky. Evan. Just as quiet. No medals. No headlines. Grant's radio final. Adrian testifies tomorrow. Full flip. Mason disbarred permanent. Brooke sank couch. My brother. Chose wrong, I said. Sap aside. Arm light around shoulders. First touch since siege. Lila smiled small. Family wins. But burner glowed last ping. One loose end. Intel drop. Brooke's final call forwarded chords. Dominic's last play cued. Heart sank fresh. Final thread. Night deepened. Protocol complete, but family scars fresh. Dominic caged. Adrian broken. Healing? Or haunt? The mill raid felt like closing a door, but doors in this world never latch clean. Dominic was cuffed and choppered out. His empire a smoking crater of feds and headlines. Adrian sat in a cell spilling every dirty secret for a shot at sunlight. Chief Harlan faced charges that would bury him under federal time. Even Mason's law office was taped off, yellow caution fluttering like surrender flags. But the burner in my pocket stayed warm. Sock's final whisper. Loose and active. Brooks' forwarded call traced to Dominic's burner. Last play inbound. Coordinates. Burroughs Shipyard. Midnight. I stared at the message in the safe house dim. Brooke asleep on the cot beside Lila. Their breathing soft finally after days of jagged edges. Grant caught my eye from the kitchenette, nodding once. You go? I'll hold here. No. Brooke stirred, voice thick with sleep, but eyes sharp. No more solos, Kyle. If this ends Dominic for good, we end it together. Lila sat up fast. Me too. Heart twisted. Not you. Safe room. She crossed arms stubborn. Family. All of us. Grant chuckled low. Kid's got ghost in her. Brooke met my gaze steady. Show me who you really are. Midnight loomed black over the shipyard. Rusted hulks looming like beached whales. Cranes skeletal against sodium lights flickering orange. River lapped oily. Wind carrying diesel and decay. JSOC drone hummed invisible overhead. Feeding thermal. Two signatures in the main warehouse. Dominic and one other. We parked dark half-mile out. My truck, Grant's backup SUV. Brooke clutched a flashlight like a weapon, Lila's hand in mine. Stay behind, I whispered. Signal if clear. Slipped through chain link, cut silent, shadows our skin. Warehouse doors creaked ajar, salt air thick. Inside, echoing vast, crates stacked maze-like. Dominic's lowrider parked crooked center floor. Voices bounced off metal walls. Dominic first, ragged edge. You sold me out, Adrian. That call to your sister? Tracked her. Thought it'd buy time. Adrian chained to a crane hook overhead, feet dangling inches off concrete, face swollen from beatings. I flipped for life. Feds promised. Dominic paced furious, pistol loose in hand. Ghost flipped you first. Empire dust because your nephew died for nothing. I signaled Brooke back, perimeter watch. Crept catwalk high, boots ghosting steel. Thermal confirmed, no others. Perfect isolation. Dominic stopped under a swinging bulb, scorpion tat stark on neck. Pulled Evan's photo from pocket, crumpled. Spit on that old man's uniform. Thought he broke. Now, he's everywhere. Adrian sobbed. Let me go? Feds'll deal. No deals. Dominic raised pistol slow. My suppressed round cracked, bullet through chain. Adrian dropped hard, groaning alive. Dominic spun wild. Ghost. Dropped 20 feet to stack tops, rolled shadows seamless. Last chance, Dominic. Uniform you spat on demands answer. He fired blind, sparks flying crates. Show yourself. Closed flanks precise, flashbang rolled his feet. Boom deafened, white light blinding. Tackled low, knee ribs, Glock pinning wrist. Pistol skittered. Face to face now, his breath hot panicked. Who are you really? Father. Twisted arm back, zip tie snap. Evans. He bucked desperate. Kid bumped me. Respect. Murder ain't respect. Dragged him beam post, secured tight. Adrian stirred, crawling weak. Kyle? Help. Eyes locked his. You traded my son. For cards. He blubbered. Debts. Dom forced. Liar. Played burner audio. His voice clear. Yem termination authorized. Signed it. Horror reel. Brooke, tell her sorry. No. Left him dangling loose chain. Anonymous tip queued. Trader rat at shipyard. Gang claims him. Dominic laughed wheezing. Smart. Let my own carve you up. Or feds. Step back, deliberate. Your spit starts wars. Mine ends them. Outside, Brooke waited tense, Lila peeking fence. Done. Almost. Pulled burner photo. Dominic slumped. Adrian broken. Sent JSOC. Targets neutralized. Zero collateral. Sirens wailed distant. Feds inbound. Grants relay. Brooke hugged Lila tight. Then me. Evan Justice? Quiet kind. Hand on her shoulder. First real touch since Allie. Healing starts. Lila smiled faint. Hero dad. Shipyard faded rear view. Dawn painting river gold. News would spin cartel implosion. No ghost headlines. No medals. But scars? Permanent. Brooke's eyes held new weight. Love mixed awe. Fear lingering. Adrian's blood on family hands. Burner final ping. Protocol closed. Asset decommission. Welcome home, Commander. Home. Garage bunker sealed tomorrow. Mechanic life resume. Dominic cuffed by noon, spilling deeper webs. Adrian vanished into gang retribution or Fed protection. Who cared? War over. Silence won. The shipyard faded into the rear view like a bad dream dissolving under morning light. But the weight of it all clung heavier than rust on those old cranes. Dominic was in federal cuffs by 0800, spilling his guts in a windowless room somewhere under Langley. Every supplier name, every dirty cop, every shell account mapped out, like a spiderweb finally torn down. Adrian? Gone. His own crew found him first at the shipyard, left him for the feds as a broken mess of apologies and blood. No trial for him. Just a quiet disappearance into witness protection, or maybe something darker. Didn't matter. The poison was drained. We drove home slow. Our real home. The one with Evan's sneakers still by the door and the porch light smashed, but waiting for a new bulb. Brooke rode shotgun, her hand resting light on my knee for the first time in weeks, like she was testing if the man underneath was still hers. Lila leaned forward from the back, chin on the seat, watching the suburbs roll by normal again. Grant trailed in his SUV, a final nod before peeling off toward whatever shadow war came next. No words passed heavy, just the hum of tires and the river's distant murmur. Silence felt earned now, not like the suffocating kind after Evan's shot. We pulled into the driveway at noon. Neighbors peeked curtains, but no stares this time. No whispers about the coward mechanic. News vans had come and gone overnight. Cartel kingpin nabbed in dramatic raid. My name nowhere. Ghost stayed ghost. Inside smelled like stale casseroles and faint gun oil, a mix that hit like memory. Brooke paused in the kitchen, touching the fridge photo. Evan grinning at his high school graduation, arms slung around Lila. Her fingers traced his smile slow. He's really gone. But they paid. I nodded, setting down the go bag. Quiet justice. The kind that lasts. Lila bolted upstairs first, flinging open her door like reclaiming territory. My room. No more cots. Laughter bubbled out. First real one since the alley. She yelled down. Dad, Evan's jersey's still here. We keeping it? Yeah, I called back. Frame it. In the hall. Brooke turned to me then, eyes clear for the first time. No fear, no monster shadow. Kyle, I saw you out there. At the shipyard. Not just surviving. Commanding. Who were you before the garage? Settled her hands in mine. Grease-stained thumbs tracing her knuckles. JSOC commander. Ghost protocol. Erased 15 years back to keep you safe. Evan never knew. Neither did you. She exhaled long, leaning forehead to my chest. The spit. Dominic mocking you. I thought you broke. But you were waiting. Always. Pulled her close, her heartbeat sinking mine. Scars stayed, but the fracture mended slow. Afternoon unfolded gentle. Fixed the porch light first, ladder steady, new bulb glowing warm. Lila swept glass shards, humming some pop song. Brooke cooked, real food, spaghetti sauce simmering, garlic bread browning. Smells filled the house like forgiveness. Dinner table creaked under plates, steam rising. Lila twirled pasta, eyes bright. Dad, teach me that wrist thing? The cuff trick. Brooke shot her a look. No. I chuckled low. Maybe someday. When you're older. Talk flowed easy, Evan's stories first. His terrible jokes. The time he rebuilt the truck engine solo at 16, grease up to his elbows just like me. Laughter mixed tears natural, no holding back. Brooke shared quiet. He got your eyes, Kyle. Steady once. Night fell soft. Lila crashed early, door cracked. Brooke and I sat porch swing, stars punching through clouds. Crickets chirped steady, river whispering far off. You retiring the bunker? She asked soft. Tomorrow. Concrete seals permanent. Mechanic life only. She squeezed my hand. Good. But if trouble knocks, wake me first. Leaned in, kissed slow. First since the world cracked. Deal. Burner one last time. Final JSOC ping. Asset decommissioned. Legacy secured. Protocol Omega closed. Tossed it in the river at dawn next day. No trace. Weeks blurred healing. Lila back to school. Friends buzzing. Your dad's a legend? She shrugged mysterious. Nah. Just dad. Brooke found old photos. My Ranger days. Faded uniform crisp. Hung one in the garage. Patch clean. No spit stain. Evan's grave visit came Sunday. Fresh flowers. Folded flag from funeral draped stone. Knelt slow, dirt cool under knees. Paid in full, son. Rest easy. Wind rustled, leaves gentle. Felt him there, smile in the breeze. Stood, Brooke beside, arm linked. Lila tossed pebble playful. He'd like this. Family whole. Whole. Yeah. Back home. Grill fired up, steaks sizzling, laughter loud. Neighbors waved casual, no questions. World turned normal again. But normal carried strength now. Garage wrench turned smoother. Truck purred reliable. Nights. Arms around Brooke. Her head on my chest, breathing synced. Dominic rotted in Supermax. Scorpion tat faded under fluorescent hell. Adrian vanished. Debts eternal. Harlan disbarred. Mason broke. Justice quiet. Legacy loud in the silence we earned. Some wars end with explosions. Ours ended with a porch light glowing steady, spaghetti sauce simmering, and a family breathing free. What scar from your past are you finally ready to heal?